Fighting for Cleveland family. How's everyone out there doing? I just wanted to come with you real quick for some key dates for the March primary election, and then after that, we'll just go from there. So to start off, let's start off with the dates. February 20th is the registration deadline at 9 o'clock p.m. Once again, February 20th is the voter registration deadline at 9 o'clock p.m. If you need help registering to vote, you got a family member, a friend, an acquaintance, someone who works at your job, a coworker who recently turned 18 or who's not registered to vote, but you want them registered to vote, please help them register to vote or contact me. I can help you with all of that. The following day is the beginning of early in-person voting and absentee, aka vote by mail voting. The deadline for absentee voting, aka vote by mail, is March the 12th. March 17 is the ending of early in-person voting at 5 p.m. March 18th, vote by mail, is the absentee postmark deadline, and March 19th is the actual primary election day, 6:30 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. Now, what is the primary election? I made a video about this a while back, but once again, I'll tell you what a primary election is. A primary election is where you have your primaries. And basically what the primaries is where you determine who your party's nominee for so-and-so is. Like, for example, for city council, let's say you have a city council seat that is up for grabs and you have a Democrat and a Republican running against each other. It might be another Democrat who thinks their policies are better, who thinks they're better than the other Democrat, or it might be a Republican who does the same thing. So the two Democrats, two Republicans, it could be 2, it could be 10, it could be 50, it could be 100. But they duke it out until they get to one candidate, and then that candidate goes on to the general election, which is in November, and they go on to represent their political party. Just because you're in the same party as somebody does not mean you don't have separate views. You can have separate views than somebody in the same political party as you, and that's the point of the primary, to get the opposing views heard, and so the best possible person can win the nomination, and so they could represent your party to the best of their capability. So you can't say, hey, I didn't want him, I wish we would have been able to vote for someone instead of him or her. Well, guess what? You're given the opportunity for a primary. Now, for the March 19th primary in Cuyahoga County, it is very important for the county prosecutor's race. And I'm going to make a video and I'm going to upload it about why the county prosecutor is very important, tell you who the two candidates are, because I've been working really hard with one of the candidates for county prosecutor. And I really think that I know this is a big deal and a lot of people don't know what it is. So, the county prosecutor's race is a big deal this year, in the primary specifically, because there's no Republican running. It's two people running against each other, two Democrats in the primary, and whoever wins is going to go on to be the prosecutor because there's no Republican running. So this is Democrat versus Democrat. And the general election this time is in March. Technically, is it the general election? No, but once again, why is it the general election? Because there's nobody running on the Republican side. It's just two Democrats running. And so if you're a Democrat or you want to become a Democrat and you didn't register to vote yet, please make sure that you do in Cuyahoga County, because it's important that you participate in that race, because that race is very important. It's important to your everyday life. And there's a lot of stuff at stake. People are making the big deal out of the presidential race, but I'm going to tone it back with the president and the national level stuff. We have a Senate race coming up. Of course, we're going to have the Republican primary for that. The Democratic nominee is going to be Sherrod Brown. He's the incumbent senator here in the state of Ohio. We have two senators. We have a junior senator, I believe. Is J.D. Vance the junior senator? J.D. Vance is one senator here. He ran in 2022 against Tim Ryan. He won a very hectic primary. And then this year, you have the incumbent, who's the other senator from Ohio, because for the U.S. Constitution, each state gets two senators. So our two senators, once again, is J.D. Vance, Sherrod Brown. Sherrod Brown is running for re-election. Like I said, I keep repeating myself, I know y'all, but he's running for re-election. And since he's running for re-election, somebody is opposing him, and it's either going to be Marino, Frank LaRose, or Matt Dolan. Is one of those three people who are going to win the Republican nominee in March to go on to challenge him. Of course, you have the presidential election coming up. We have that primary coming up, which I don't know by the time they get here if it will still be a primary or not, because depending on what happens in South Carolina with Nikki Haley and President Trump. And then you have what I think is more important than the presidential election, your state elections. Because like I said before, it's a lot of issues we have. It's a lot of problems we have that we go and we want to hold the national government responsible when they don't have to be held responsible for it. You could do it on your state, local level. We got some important state primaries and local primaries happening. You have people in the state house, the state senate. Those are the Sherrod Brown, J.D. Vance. That's the national people. Ohio's 11th congressional district, Shontel Brown. That's the 11th congressional district. That's not the state people. That is not the state people. We have a state house. We have a state senate. We have a state Supreme Court. It's important that we know who is in there. So I'm going to do a video all about that as well. And also we have local stuff, county prosecutor. We got a county prosecutor race that's coming up that I told you about earlier. So there's a lot of things that are currently happening. And I'm going to, over these next couple of weeks, I'm going to continue to update you and let y'all know what's happening. Because like I said, it's important, y'all, that we pay attention and we know what's happening. All right, y'all. Steven Counter out. Peace.